It's time for
DodgerHeads.
high fly ball into right field. Dodgers have won it all in 2020. Shohei Ohtani, 50-50 club. Strikes him out. There's a drive. Shohei Ohtani. Freeman hits the ball. She is gone. Birthday party, Los Angeles. Your Dodgers have won the World Series.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome into DodgerHeads Unplugged with Scotty G. It's great to have you in here. What an unbelievable Friday. Didn't have a chance to talk with you yesterday. Welcome in, welcome in, welcome in. Just an unbelievable series, an unbelievable game, a game 4 that, look, we were looking at it. We prefaced yesterday on the show that people asked, was it a must win? It was not a must win, but you don't want to see a game 5. You want to finish it on your home turf. You want to finish it at home. When it came down to it, this was the series that absolutely came down to the little things. It came down to those little moments, one extra swing, one extra pitch, one extra play. There are a ton of moments. There are a ton of good. There's a ton of bad. We're going to get back to it. But at the end of the day, the Los Angeles Dodgers did just enough of the little things to push themselves to the National League Championship Series. And we'll see them again. And the Dodgers are awaiting their opponent between the Milwaukee Brewers and the Chicago Cubs, who are headed to a game 5 after the Cubs take both games in Chicago to force that to a game 5. So right now, Dodgers are sitting in a good spot. We talked about finishing it in game 3. We talked about the importance of game 1, importance of game 2, and how they could take the upper hand there. And then you're in a spot where the mathematical advantage and the advantage of history. And we talk about that a lot. Historical stuff, those patterns come into play a lot. And that's just how it goes. And then game 3, obviously, we know what happened there. In game 4, it's just finish it here. Allow yourself to reset. And the further you get into a series after you're way up, doubt always starts to creep in. It's just how it goes. Not saying it happened for me, because I kept bringing up the statistical advantage they had, the good place that I felt the Dodgers were in. Just a matter of getting there, just a matter of putting it all together and not seeing the Phillies, when the opportunity arose, them snatching it. They didn't do that. Game 3 was the only clunker. Outside of that, they didn't do the little things well. They didn't capitalize on the opportunities. But everybody, we're going to get into it a bunch. Congratulations to everybody. You stuck around this long. You've been here, tier ones. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You're looking at a National League Championship Series where the Dodgers are in a well-positioned to match up with either the Cubs or the Brewers. The starting pitching is in a good spot. The offense has a chance to reset. And we're going to, break it all down here on Dodger Blue. We've got you covered on every single aspect. Follow us on social media at Dodger Blue 1958. You can find us on YouTube, Twitter, Apple Music, Spotify, however you consume your podcasts. Follow us up there. Rate, subscribe, follow us. We've got you covered. Comment down below every single thing, all your thoughts. I want to hear them. How excited are you? Welcome into the early people. So far, people are already asking questions here. Let's see what we got. Jedi says, who would the Phillies even start if we were cursed to reach a game 5? I would think they would go Aaron Nola and just kind of patchwork it together. He had the least usage. I would say it would have been Aaron Nola. That's who I would have thought. And then they would have maybe got some innings from Suarez, and they would have just patchworked it together. Maybe you probably would have seen Taijuan Walker at some point. That's how it goes. So Jedi, you just everything. I was very surprised. Well, I'll get into it some more, but Rob Thompson got outmanaged. He got outmanaged this series, and by a wide margin. A wide margin. And that's why people should be very happy that Dave Roberts is in the position he's in, because there were several moments where Rob Thompson made a peculiar move and it cost them a game. You got to execute. You got to execute. Players always have to do that. Players got to play. They've got to execute. Dave can only put them in spots to succeed, but they've got to go out there and play. But where Rob Thompson sat, there were a couple moments where it was just like, left guys in, didn't execute. Players make managers good. Players make managers look bad. And Rob Thompson had some spots where some of those decisions, whether he acted or not, made him look pretty bad. And they got out, and he got out managed. Dodgers outplayed. They did the little things right. Andrew says, sick hat. Thank you, buddy. I got a bunch. Everybody always brings that up. I appreciate that a lot. I've got an arsenal of them. Let's see. Today's for you guys. Dodgers Nate. What's up, buddy, man? I appreciate you, buddy. It's good to have you in. Dodgers Nate, if you haven't had a chance, he's one of the best follows on social media for all your hype videos, everything. He's good, good buddy, good dude. We talk quite a bit. He's terrific. He does great work for the Dodgers community as far as hype videos and just putting stuff out there, stuff you can share around. So Dodgers Nate, man, salute to you, man. I appreciate you tuning into the show. Let's see. Sandy P says, Scotty, do you recall of your viewer who wasn't afraid of the Phillies? Yeah. Battle of the Titans. It was a battle of the Titans. Flat out how it was. It was a battle of the Titans, and it came down to the little things, and the pitching prevailed. I got a whole plan here today, but it looks like you guys just want to talk. Let's see. Scott should Ohtani start taking lefty BP? Something. That pained me a lot. I've got all the stats pulled up for him, how he was this series, but he looked completely out of whack. He unraveled at the plate every single time. It looked like he was guessing start to finish from game 1 through game 4. He was being pitched tougher than I have ever seen. I don't think I've ever seen him pitch tougher than that series. Not even close. And all the credit in the world, let me just get this out of the way. All the credit in the world to the Phillies pitchers, the relievers, all the credit in the world there. Christopher Sanchez is an all-world talent. He's incredible. Of imposing presence on the mound. He is an incredibly tall human being, towers over me. But the work he did out there, he can anchor his staff. And he'll be down in the running for, Cy Young. I don't think he'll win that award there. But he struck fear. He eliminated the lefties. And it was an unbelievable thing to watch. Ranger Suarez, we thought he was hurt. Maybe he was a little bit banged up, gave him everything he had. Jesus Luzardo, just terrific stuff there. And I was still disappointed the Dodgers couldn't do anything off Aaron Nola in game 3. But the starting pitching in this series was absolutely phenomenal. So all the credit in the world to them. Christopher Sanchez, Jesus Luzardo, and Ranger Suarez. Disgusting. As good as it gets from stuff, on that front. I don't think we've seen a trio like that in a bit. In a bit. They took care of business there. So from a pitching standpoint, I'm a big fan of the low run ball games. They're stressful. They're not for the weak hearted, but those are ball games where you look at it and you're like, well, goddamn, this is pitching at its finest. This is pitching when every game comes down to that one opening, that one opportunity. And that's why game to game, people kept asking, what's prediction? And it was the Dodgers kept finding a way to have that door cracked open, and then they took it, kick it down. Game 1, game 2, doors cracked open, kick it down, find a way to win a ball game. It's not always pretty. It's not always pretty. It's going to stress you out. You're going to have some grindy at bats. You're going to have some dirty work. And then game 3 just didn't happen. Phillies got going for a minute, very hot second. Clayton Kershaw, shout out to you, man, for wearing that. Because he did. He wore it. Clayton Kershaw wore that. All credit to Dave Roberts there. And then in game 4, 0 offense. All the pitching, defensive plays on both sides of the ball. Phillies defense up the middle was terrific. Halton runs. Max Kepler having some poor routes and some good dives to balls in the gap down the line. All around. An unbelievable series. And what happens, guys, when you see a series that is so even across the board? It always comes down to the little things. It comes down to sometimes if it's the stars will do the little things, do the big things. But it came down to the role players last night. Came down to Tommy Edman getting a leadoff knock. Came down to Hesson Kim putting pressure, going first to third. Came down to Rob Thompson, with Yohan Duran on the mound, walking Shohei Ohtani, who's been really bad, going to Mookie Betts. Mookie Betts all season long. What did we highlight here? Even when he was down in the lowest points, I kept highlighting that even though he's not getting the results wanted, there are things that are historically consistent with Mookie Betts: chase rate, walk rate, chase rate, and walk rate. Those things never wavered. He goes up there, has a bases loaded walk, tie a ball game. Rob Thompson pitched around Ohtani because he said that the justification for walking Ohtani was that he never walked anybody with the bases loaded before. Never happens until it does for the first time. Get outmanaged. We've seen it happen before. You don't pitch to Ohtani, you pitch to Mookie. Mookie Betts finds a way. Mookie Betts find a way. Mookie Betts redeemed himself a long time ago. Mookie Betts redeemed himself. I don't know about finally. He finally happened a long time ago. I would say finally happened a good bit ago. Just a quick look at the numbers. Breaking all this stuff down. To the starting pitchers of the Los Angeles Dodgers, incredibly well done job. Shohei Ohtani goes out there, 3 earned runs, settles in after that second inning there, goes on to punch 9. Blake Snell, again, as good as it gets on his front, goes 6, allows 1 hit, 9 strikeouts, 4 walks, does what he does, sub-1 whip, allows a 0.56 batting average. With what Blake Snell does, I don't think I have a comfortability factor as high as could be with him out there. And the one name that I think everybody needs to give a ton of credit to, myself included, and it's right here. Tyler Glasnow is a dog. And we'll go into a little bit more, but Tyler Glasnow just had an unbelievable experience. He went out there and gave the Dodgers exactly what they needed. Chat, what did we talk about after the wild card round? And again, everybody, we got super chats coming in. I'm gonna halt what I was doing, and I'll get right to those. If you're tuning in for the first time, pull up a chair, stay a while. We're breaking this down. Everything about the National League Division Series, Dodgers, Phillies. We're gonna get into absolutely everything you want to talk about. Absolutely everything you want to talk about. But I'm really feeling in a good spot with where they're at. I'm feeling in a good spot with where they're at. I think the Dodgers can line up their starting pitching however they want going forward. They're in a better place than any team in Major League Baseball currently left in the playoffs with their starting pitching. Doesn't matter how they line them up. They feel they're in a good spot. And I feel every single starter is up for the challenge there, however they want to use them. All right. But looking around the bullpen, we talked about after the wild card round, Dave put in Vesia in a low leverage spot. Didn't work out for him. He put in Blake Treinen in a spot, not looking good. And we kept talking about how we would hope that he learned a lesson and he would look at around in that room, starting pitching and relievers included, and just look like it as a staff. Strip away the labels, strip away the starter reliever thing, and just say, who do I have? Who do I have available? And we saw Dave learn, from the Blake Treinen experience. He tried to give him that moment in game 2, and thankfully it worked out. They ended up winning that ball game. But with what Dave Roberts did as far as in game 3, Clayton Kershaw goes out there and wears one, and he does. He goes 2, allows 5, 4 earned, gives up 2 homers, and gives some life to the Phillies. But to his credit, he said he was not going to use Emmett Sheehan or Roki Sasaki. And it's not that he punted a game. You can call it that, but I don't believe it was that. They were in a 3-1 ball game. He's looking ahead. He wants to have the absolute upper hand. He doesn't want to give the Phillies another look at Roki or Emmett Sheehan. He already had used the other lefties in that game. Yeah, and NSS Treinen was warming up for the 12th. Yeah, he was last night. But Clayton Kershaw went out there and wore one on the chin, and that's how it has to happen sometimes. That was the concern with him, that the velocity from Kershaw is not there. But he went out there and did a job. So all credit to him. Wasn't pretty, but somebody had to do it. I know Jeff called it the souped up Brent Honeywell roll, but it was the souped down Brent Honeywell roll because it didn't look good. Clayton Kershaw didn't look good out there, but he did a job. And then yesterday, what ended up happening? Emmett Sheehan goes out there outside of a PFP gaff at first base, can't find the bag, lets the ball go into the dugout. The Philadelphia Phillies get shut out yesterday. They get shut out. Glasnow goes 6. Sheehan for 1, looks fine, and Roki Sasaki, and then Vesia. We know how it goes. But I'm looking around at the offense. The offense as a whole had a really difficult time. The offense as a whole just had it up. A combined 557 OPS, 199 batting average. They had 6 extra base hits. If you told me that after a division series win over the Philadelphia Phillies, Battle of the Titans, the Dodgers won a series 3-1 with a 557 OPS combined, I would have told you you're out of your mind. But that's the starting pitching we're dealing with. And that's how bad the Phillies were. Outside of their game 3, they did 0. Absolutely 0. My narrative cooking with Tommy Edman and Teoscar having the only 2 homers from the Dodgers on this side. Yeah. And as saying, went from us talking about sweet to oh no. Yeah, after game 3. But you break it down, it comes down to the little things. It was a scratch and claw thing here. Norm, exactly, buddy. It was a scratch and claw game, not pretty, but both emptying it out, caps off to both. You cannot say, I had nothing. Only thing I could say is that the Phillies, when it came down to it in the scratch and claw ball games, the Dodgers answered back more times than they didn't. The relievers stepped up more times than they didn't. Robert, I got you, man. Okay, yeah, I got you. So Robert says Shohei was terrible, but check out the team stats: 199 average. Yeah, 558 WRC plus, 5 for 29, ugly all over. Decision making at the plate at times was poor. At bat quality was poor going outside, but if you listen to how the Dodgers offense and those guys spoke to the Philly starters and the relievers post game, even after Christopher Sanchez's first start, Dodgers won that game. They even highlighted that. He said, this is stuff we didn't see in the regular season. It's all ramped up. But they did miss quite a lot of hangers. They missed a lot. Last night in particular, Jesus Luzardo came in and was spinning sweepers, pitching to the game plan, and the Dodgers just weren't there. The shadows were brutal yesterday. But Robert, as a whole, this series offense was at a premium, absolute premium. I'm taking game 3 out of it. Throw it out the window. I'm looking at 1, 2, and 4. Game 3 was weird. But even then, outside of, when the game got away from them, offense was at a premium. Total premium. But you got to look at it that Philly starters brought it. Dodger starters were electric outside of Yamamoto, who had an uncharacteristic game. And the Dodgers found a way. And the relievers stepped up, man. Someone wants to know who's given MVP for the series. They don't do DS MVPs. If you guys have an MVP in mind, let me know. It could have been anybody. I'm going to say, honestly, you could give it to Roki. I'm going to go to my 2 next people here. It could be these guys right here. Roki Sasaki and Tyler Glasnow. You can give it to the both of them. You can give it to absolutely both of them. Blake, get out of here, man, with this Conforto nonsense. Go away, admin. Everyone tell Blake, get out. Boo. We're talking about dogs. We're talking about dogs out here. Blake's laying in bed in his footy pajamas watching, thinking about Michael Conforto. Nuts. You could give it to Roki Sasaki and Tyler Glasnow. And I'm going to go with there. Now, Blake's a beast. He's a beast. His birthday is tomorrow. Everybody wish him happy early birthday. I'm giving it to both. Roki Sasaki and Tyler Glasnow. Yeah, we'll get there, Sandy Feet. We'll talk about Emmett Sheehan and Alex Vesia for sure. I'm going full bullpen. We're talking full bullpen, full pitching, everything. But Roki Sasaki and Tyler Glasnow, enough can't be said about Tyler Glasnow coming into relief. I believe that was game 1. goes out there and gives him everything. Gives him an inning and 2/3, um, and pumps, and absolutely pumps. And then he goes out there last night, where we said yesterday on this show that that had to be the start of his career. That's why you go out there and you give him a 5-year, I think around $172 million contract immediately. Absolutely immediately. And then he goes out in a game that you need him to pitch. You need him to step up. He goes out there and gives you 6 innings, 2 hits, 3 walks, 8 punch. If you told me Tyler Glasnow in game 4, I'm feeling damn confident. And the Dodgers played the advantage there because the game 1 guy for them was Shohei Ohtani, and Christopher Sanchez came back and shoved as well. 6 2/3 from him. He yielded terrible swings all day. But Tyler Glasnow and Roki Sasaki. And I was thinking during the game that there were several moments during the regular season where people would ask, Scott, do you see Roki or being a factor? And at his current spot, before he went to Arizona and worked with their guys there, Rob Hill and everybody, it was like, how do you see him factoring in? What runway do you have? And then he goes out, changes complete mechanics, prep, finds a way to unlock something that we could never see. And then in a game where you're at home and a chance to go to the NLCS, Roki Sasaki goes out there and gives you 3 shutty. 3 shutty. Unbelievable performance. Pitches, 3 appearances. Just what a monster. What a monster performance here. Sorry about that. Yeah, 3. 3 games. Goes an inning, gets 1 out in game 2 to close it out. And then game 3 or game 4, he goes 3 innings. Doesn't allow an earned run. Just 1 hit to the Phillies. Man, Dave Roberts had some incredible quotes on Roki Sasaki here. I'm just going to put my favorite one up here on the bottom and let you guys check that out there. But yeah, Dave Roberts said, on Roki Sasaki's game 4, he said, you're talking about one of the great all-time appearances out of the pen that I can remember. Dave Roberts on Roki Sasaki in game 4. He never took his glove off in the dugout. I don't know if you guys happen to notice that. Exactly. Rosemary, thank you. He didn't take his glove off. So he was ready to go. Roki Sasaki had some incredible quotes post-game when talking about that. When he was asked about pitching big games in Japan, what was the atmosphere like in LA? He said, I've experienced the playoff atmosphere here in the US and Japan. I was glad I was able to get a little bit of that experience in Philadelphia. So when I came back here to pitch at Dodger Stadium, I didn't feel any nerves. He was locked in. He was absolutely locked in. And exactly this. Sasaki was a demon. So if you want to ask who the MVP was of this National League Division Series, early on, there were some big hits yielded. But overall, it was about when offense is at a premium, you have to do whatever you can as a pitching staff to limit that from the other side. It had everything to do with Roki Sasaki at the back end, going in, putting out the fire in game 2, winning a ball game there, and Tyler Glasnow game 1 in relief, and then in game 4 where it's like, damn, Phillies just kind of woke up a little bit against. They said had a righty. You have good success against a righty. Their main boppers are lefties. Kyle Schwarber woke up a little bit. And Tyler Glasnow goes out and shoves. Willing to do whatever it takes is more so the thing. So I'm giving it to both of them, and to a rookie, no less. I'm giving it also, Roki Sasaki and Tyler Glasnow, who has chased. We talked about, they've said chasing that perfect feeling on the mound. Dave Roberts has spoke to that. We've seen him have missing some time with some odd stuff. And he comes back and he said he was dealing with some cramping, I think around the back end of the 3rd inning. And he said, I kind of put it away, kind of put that in my pocket and just let it go. Pitch through it. Didn't let it get me out of rhythm. Paraphrasing, of course, but that's what he did. So I like the spot that they took him out. He got through there. He was right before JT Realmuto, who had a couple hard hit balls against him. So in spite of the success he had, it was a good spot for Dave to pull him out there. Emmett Sheehan comes in, has a little bit of a gaffe at first base, can't find the bag. Rage fastball inside to Nick Castellanos. There's the double. There's the run, and then gets out of it. And Sasaki comes in, finishes it out. So everybody, Dave Roberts pushed the right buttons. The players made him look good. And that's how it goes. It comes down to the little things. And it's remarkable. I was talking to Blake last night about this morning about this, that in a series that we call the preview of whoever wins this has a really, really big time shot to go to the World Series and win a World Series. It came down to the absolute little things. And when the offense wasn't going, those canceled each other out. Came down to the pitching. If you want to say those things canceled each other out, comes down to the little things and managing. And Dave Roberts outmanaged Rob Thompson. That's how it goes. Pitchers made a couple more extra pitches there. And then when you look at the little things, ball back to the box, Orion Kerkering panics a little bit, fumbles it around, throws home, Ha-Seong Kim scores a winning run. See you in the NLCS. Fun game. Fun game. How was that? That was a fun chat. That was good stuff. Terrific job. Dodgers win a game going 0 for 6 with RISP. Shout out to Big Tommy Edman, man. People doubted Big Tommy Edman. Get owned. Unbelievable. Can't believe it. People making fun of him. Tommy Edman short hops one throw. Dodgers still win a ball game. Goes out there. Good competitive at-bats. We talked Alex Call before the game with Christopher Sanchez. Said he was going to start. He goes out there. Doesn't get out. He doesn't get out the whole series. Alex Call doesn't get out the whole series. Unplugged prior to game 1, we were talking about how he should be in there. Told you guys, your tier 1s knew what you were doing. You signed up for this. Told you he was a good idea, and he gave incredibly competitive at-bats, got stuff going there. And credit to Max Muncy. Working his way back here. He had a good series. But to the numbers, Alex Vesia, the big AB against Harrison Bader yesterday. Just a couple pinpoint moments. If you guys have a favorite moment that you want me to bring up, or you want to put in chat that I'm forgetting about, there were a lot of big spots, but there were a lot of good moments in this series. JY Kershaw deserves respect for the sacrifice he made for the team, and I hope Philly fans will be kind to Ryan Kerkering. He's still so young. Yeah, definitely. That moment is one that because that's professional sports. One, fans are not kind to players who have those kind of blow-ups or those moments. But the fact that the Phillies core is so old, I believe they're the oldest team in Major League Baseball. Kyle Schwarber, JT Realmuto, and Ranger Suarez are all free agents. So the core of the Philadelphia Phillies could be vastly different next year. Big time. Could see a change in managers. There's a lot of calling for that. There were moments where it was like Rob Thompson is completely managing himself out of this with some of those moments, and they were clear. It was like guys execute it. It's a whole different story there, but it felt like, man, stuff could have been different. We just seen it. I think we're spoiled with, seeing good outcomes there or having a pulse. And when you're saying that this is a moment, just because we've seen Kike do it, and he had that moment in game 1. Yeah. Philadelphia Phillies core could be totally different here. So my MVPs of that series, Roki Sasaki, Tyler Glasnow, all the credit in the world to the Dodgers starting pitching, all the credit in the world to the Dodgers bullpen for handling the load there. Clayton Kershaw wearing one, saving Emmett Sheehan and Roki Sasaki. For the fans that want to say, punted games, Dave wins after punting games. Don't doubt it. He figures it out. You want to save it for if you've got a day to win. If you've got extra games that you can look at and say, we like the advantage here. The numbers say this. It's better to have 3 extra guys that are ready to go fully than exhaust them in a game where technically it's not a must win. And that was a good call. It proves again to be a good call here. Gag Jardner says, I was at the game, swear I'm a few years older leaving that stadium. Also really do feel for Orion. He's a SoCal kid who turned scapegoat. Yeah, the Phillies didn't do jack all series. They didn't do anything. Nothing. And to put it on him in that spot, that's baseball. Those moments find you. You've got simple PFPs are the reason why you can win or lose a ball game. You can win or lose a series. It comes down to the little things. It stinks. Sucks for him. That's an unfortunate thing. Wish him all the best. He's a young kid. I'm not, in the camp where you just dunk on a young player like that. Can alter a career, can alter a life. Saw some good Phillies post games where they were, being very kind to him, some very poor to him. On the way the Phillies all at the same time. JT Realmuto's a absolute pro. Went out to him, brought him immediately. Get off the field, man. Don't need to be out here. So, but they had all the opportunities to do it. They just didn't make it happen. They did not make it happen. Sandy Feet, Scotty, can we talk about Emmett Sheehan and Alex Vesia? Yeah, we can. We definitely can. We talked about after the wild card round how I had hoped and I expected the process to be better. I expected the process to be better this time. And it was. Emmett Sheehan came in against the Phillies in game 2. Game 2. Was that correct? I think game 2. Yes, game 2. And allowed 1 earned, but he had those pitches inner half. Big strikeout of Kyle Schwarber there. The process was much better this time. Last night, again, the play at first base, it is what it is. It happens. It's a game of inches. Ball gets into the dugout. You should just glove it and figure it out from there. But Emmett Sheehan's stuff can definitely play. Stuff can definitely play. As far as Alex Vesia giving up some damage, but as a whole, Alex Vesia, for all the moments that he had that made people go, man, I don't know about it. Alex Vesia, let me just pull up some splits here for him. Alex Vesia in the division series round, 3 appearances, 2 innings, 1 hit, 1 punch. Good stuff. He's a stud. Exactly this, Alshiba. He's a stud. He did great work there. Vesia makes you nervous, but he comes through. It's those high leverage moments that he relishes in. He's a can of Red Bull, man. He's a can of Red Bull out there. He shouldn't pitch in low leverage, high IVB fastball. Put him out there, let him work. The Bader AB was one that you can put a pin in and say, this is a battle of how to be relentless. Be relentless. That at bat was one I'm going to think about. I'm going to watch back the second I turn off the show. He is a can of Red Bull out there. And he doesn't care. I appreciate this a lot about this Dodgers team. And thanks you guys for all indulging me today and kind of going off of, these are my thoughts. These are things I think about. When you watch a lot of ball, you get invested in these players and you see the tendencies and they have. I admire the fact that there are several guys on this team now that are not in that bullpen that have failed and they feel not afraid to fail. And Alex Vesia is definitely one of them. The rest of the guys can't speak to it, but there are guys that are not afraid to fail. A lot of them are starters. A lot of them are damn starters. Blake Snell's going to live and die with his best stuff there. Tyler Glasnow, Ohtani, Yamamoto, just how it goes. They're not afraid to fail. And if they do, they'll bounce back. And who's the one who's failed a lot and kept getting up? And they've got him out there in the bullpen wearing it. Clayton Kershaw. And that's why I keep drawing back to that. He goes out there, save it, because he knows the younger arms, Emmett Sheehan and Roki Sasaki have much more success than he would had they used them in game 3. You're down 3-1. Offense isn't doing anything. You've got Tyler Glasnow, who you feel good about. You want Emmett Sheehan to possibly give you some length. And that's how it goes. Keep drawing back to that, guys. Keep drawing back to that. Tyler Glasnow last night, I have his stuff up. He was electric. 16 swing and miss. His spray charts were exceptional. I talk about that a lot. You want stuff to be competitive here. Terrific pitch mix. Yeah. 4-seamer, heavy, curveball. Slider was in a good place. About 10 sinkers here. 8. Lucas says pumpkin spice lattes. Oh, hey, Lucas, man, I don't drink lattes, pal. I'm not. I just have some pumpkin spice creamer, buddy. I'm not your pal, guy. Relax. Hating on the pumpkin spice, man. I don't drink lattes. It's fall season though. Get in the spirit, man. Put out some Halloween decorations. But yeah, Tyler Glasnow. It was that was fun to watch. Lefties, big time fastball, big time curveball. Basically exclusively that. He was almost 50-50. He left them going. In the shadows, he talked about that post game. He said in the first inning, in the first few innings, he knew that he had a little bit of a thing. He said, I figured it out a little bit when Tyler Glasnow was speaking to the shadows. He said, quote, I figured it out a little through the early game. I'm sure that had something to do with it. I don't know which innings, but I didn't think about it too much. Attacked him like I normally would, and it worked out. But you could see it. When they panned the camera from the backdrop, you could definitely see that. You could definitely see that from behind home plate. Uh, it looked tough. It looked tough looking out to center field. The batter's eye was a difficult place to be. Yeah. People are asking what my NLCS rotation is. It's just a matter of if you want to start Blake Snell game one, game two, or Otani game one, game two. Just a matter of that. I'm not looking too much into it yet. Let some stuff play out. They'll let us know. I'm not too concerned either way. It just comes into a matter of rest days and all that. We'll talk about that soon. We got time. But it's just funny that the two offenses who struggled the most so far in the DS uh, are the ones that were the two powerhouse offenses. Collectively, the Dodgers and the Phillies were really both, hit offensively really bad. The Phillies even worse outside of Game 3. And you take that Game 3 out, they were horrific. They were really bad too. But the Brewers and the Cubs are kind of beating up on each other. Chat, I appreciate you coming to my defense on pumpkin spice. W chat. That's why you guys are here. Shout out to 800. Listen to me yap for 40 minutes. If you're listening after the fact on Spotify, Apple Music, you're the best. Terrific Game 4. Dodgers push on to the NLCS. Phillies fans want a teardown, NS says. I don't doubt it. You look around the core and you see it's really old. The Dodgers have a really old core as well, but they just managed assets really well. And they're getting production. It's a lot easier when you're like teams that are older. They find a way to execute and they win. That Phillies core hasn't done anything for years, and they've had the same core there. I still remember when Kyle Schwarber signed that contract. They haven't done anything all the way through it. Rosemary wants to know, Scott, who do you want to see them go against in the CS? It's a nuanced answer because the Brewers kind of do all the little things correctly, and that's maddening in the postseason. You hear that, and like during the regular season, I think they had the highest number of runs scored off opponent like miscues and errors, like like over 50. And that just shows like they just wait for other teams to beat them. But what if that doesn't happen? What if that doesn't happen? What if the base hit stuff doesn't work out and they're not getting, base knocks, bat the ball doesn't work out? Their pitching is good. But right now they're running. I got a buddy who's a Brewers fan. He texted me last night. I said, how you feeling? He said, I don't know who they throw in Game 5. So they've got their pitching and their bullpen is elite. They got, Pat Murphy does an incredible job mixing and matching and stuff there. But I see people in chat bringing it up. My exact thing. It's about you look across and you look at the Cubs. The Cubs would be a great matchup for the Dodgers. For one reason, the Dodgers would be the higher seed, and they get home field advantage. I know home field advantage didn't just matter at all because the Dodgers went and took two. They won both at home against the Reds, sure. But then you in Philly in the DS, you go into Philly and take two, and then you go win at home. So I know home field advantage in baseball isn't too much of a thing. Very few ballparks. But then now against the Chicago Cubs, you'd be the highest seed. Against the Brewers, you wouldn't. So go Cubs. You ever find a way to play that? The Cubs give the Dodgers home field advantage. I was thinking about that. When you kind of look at scenarios, you're like, how could the Dodgers swindle home field advantage? It'd be the Cubs. And they've got Matt Boyd out there, Jameson Tyone, and Shota Imanaga. It's a far cry from Christopher Sanchez, Ranger Suarez, and Jesus Luzardo. Telling you, man. I'm telling you, this was it. This was the series. This is like, if you guys aren't taking the biggest deep breath this morning, like, holy shit. Like, that series was a nail biter, as close as it comes. That was fun ball. I'm taking a big deep breath this morning. And you know what? Whoever clowned me for pumpkin spice, I'm getting 2 of them today just because of that. 2 of them. GI says Cubs don't have great pitching, but Wrigley isn't playing very hitter friendly this time of year. Yeah, I mean, that's why you go win in LA. Win in LA. I mean, GI, then you just pitch better. You pitch better to them. You pitch better than they can. They've got their best reliever coming in like in the 5th inning all the time. So, however it lines up, I'm telling you. We'll talk about it. We'll break it down. I believe the Dodgers are in an advantageous spot no matter what. They feel good. Aaron says, Scott, don't drink too much. You might turn into a white one. I'll turn into a happy guy. I'm here, man. All right. As long as I don't start talking about favorite candies and stuff like that, I'm chilling. All right, let's take questions, man. I'm here. I'm good. Let's do it. You guys are great. Always supporting. This is where we thrive. We get on here, have a good time with chat, just let the narratives air out, break stuff down. And you look at the numbers. The role players came up, and it was Andy Pajes just putting the ball in play, who didn't look like he had a shot in the world early on in the whole series here. Just a horrific series, 1 for 15 as a whole. Ewell Carter says the deepest of breaths, and it was the deepest of breaths when I looked out there and saw him hit a hard comebacker, and he couldn't field it, and I was like, great. And then you look over, and he just points it home. There's a behind the catcher pick of Real Muto pointing at first base like Garrett Cole, and Kerkering is just staring down at the ball and picks it up, and his head's still down. That was panic. His head was never up. Phillies post games brought that up. Aaron, I don't have an answer for you on that one yet. People ask me about the rotation. I don't have an answer for you on that yet. Just look at game 1, game 2, and they'll figure out the rest from there. Who do I have in Seattle today? Who are the pitching matchups in that series? Let me look. If you give me the pitching matchup, I got you. Skubal? Skubal and who? Is it Skubal and Kirby? Kirby, okay. In Seattle? Man. Second look at Skubal, second look at Kirby. Give me Seattle. Give me Seattle. I don't know why. Give me Seattle. Big Dumper's been hitting. I know Skubal today. Give me Seattle. Why not? But I've seen the Tigers have some late game hits like that. I've seen some the Tigers like Tigers have had some late game hits. They've had some come from behind stuff where it's been interesting. They've been getting better. They've been getting better as it's gone on. Should I stick with that, chat? Should I stick with Mariners? Or should I flip that one? It's a weird series. I don't know yet. Haven't decided. Skubal will shove. All right, you guys are pushing me in that way. Fine, Skubal. We'll rock with the Tigers. We'll rock with the Tigers. But so far, guys, everybody's forgetting. Dodgers took care of Gavin Lux. Dodgers took care of Walker Buehler. Justin Turner with the Cubs could be next. And then after that, wait and see. Play who's in front of you. There we go. Let's see. Isabel. What's up, Isabel? I hope you're having a beautiful day, Isabel, actually. Hi, Scott. What a great series it was. Pitching series. Who cares what team the Dodgers play next? Bring them on. Facts. I agree with you. Dodgers are in an advantageous matchup no matter what. I feel they're in a good place. Starting pitching, we've already seen them. They've carried the load. Dave Roberts pushed them at the back end. Rob Thompson, for some odd reason, didn't want to push Luzardo deeper into that game. Could have done it. Cost him. Even though he pushed his guys all year. You play for today. Weird. FC says if the Mariners get eliminated, that means the second and third best rotations in baseball, Philly will be eliminated. Weird stuff, right? Weird stuff. Let's see. Aaron, yeah, they don't do that stuff, man. Tanner Scott had a legitimate procedure. Hope he's doing well. Really do. Amanda Z, is Ohtani more valuable as a pitcher or hitter in this postseason? So far, it's been pitching. Undoubtedly. Undoubtedly pitching. Big time. Postseason debut in Philly. You go out there and you shove outside of one weird inning. Teoscar misplay, extra stuff, extra bags. Lame. Megan wants to know what was with Kike yesterday. It took a long time to get back in the box. I think it was the ankle. I think it was an ankle. He kind of tweaked something. Megan, good question. Yeah, I hadn't looked into that again. I don't think they ever addressed it. But Kike definitely had an odd swing, and it was pretty immediate. It looked uncomfortable. I was super exhausted from yelling my ass off at the game yesterday. That was probably electric. I was at home and I saw the comebacker. When you see like a normal comebacker, like internal clock, they've got time. We've seen that a million times. 2 outs, plays one. And then once you look at the fans, like the outfield cam view, you see the comebacker. And if you watch it back, reaches for the ball at the ground and you see everybody behind him put their hands up in the air. And that's just, it was crazy that people just preemptively were like, I mean, we know it's a massive play, but something was coming. Just cool. A lot of cool video came of that. And Ryan Kirkring unfortunately provided us with it, or fortunately provided us with it. But that's a moment. That's a moment. He lost the ball for a sec. It wasn't like it was in front of him. He lost it underneath him, and then it was out front. SD Hydra wants to know, will Conforto be on the roster? I mean, it's a conversation to be had for sure. Tommy Edmonds' ankle said it's good to go, like it's a manageable spot. So Kike Hernandez would left. I don't think so. I don't think so. Let's go, Isabella says, I'm having a great day, Scott. Hope you're having a great day. You're a beast. Absolutely. Have a great Friday. Thanks for tuning in. I don't think Conforto is going to be on the roster. I just, I'd be surprised. The need for that, I think they're in a good spot with like Max Muncy getting a start there. They feel good about options off the bench. We haven't even seen Dalton Rushing yet, and they're carrying him. So I feel like they'd prefer Dalton Rushing currently because he's got a pulse right now on the team. He's been out there. We haven't seen him yet, but I think they feel better, with him. And they have outfield options. We've seen them shuffle the deck a little bit here. Let's see here. Alex Base, road vet or Rushing getting dropped for an extra pitcher. Not sure yet. Not sure yet. I haven't looked into that yet. Neither. Roard fits not, and yeah. I'd be bummed if it was Big Rort. Could be him though. That would stink. But it could be. Paul said Rushing played game 3. We just haven't seen him in like significant time, is what I'm talking about. We just haven't seen him at all. We don't know what he's got. 1AB doesn't do much. But I think they feel comfortable with what he can do over Conforto. I'd be surprised though. Rordfed could be the one to go off. I just haven't looked into it too much yet. We'll get into it over the weekend. Let's see here. All right. Questions here. Questions here. Dave says, do you think we bring Hurt, Ben Kasparis, or Will Klein into the NLCS, especially after giving Blake a chance again and him not being able to produce? I would be hard pressed to see Dave Roberts being okay with Blake Treinen not on the roster. I really would. He had him warming up for the 12th. I mean, he had to use somebody, so somebody's got to go in there. But I'd be hard pressed to think that they would be like, yeah, Dave Roberts would be cool leaving Blake Treinen off and you adding somebody else on. Ben Kasparis could be a guy. He's one-eyed. Everybody knows I'm a big fan of all those three. Kyle Hurt, Ben Kasparis, Will Klein. Will Klein looked good back end of the year, but I'd be hard pressed to see Blake Treinen being left off the roster here. That's just how I see it here. Dodgers highlights. What's up, man? It's good to see you. Do you think we keep rolling Pies in center field if we keep struggling, or do we think he could potentially see a call Conforto platoon with Kike in center field as AB quality has been so frustrating? No, I don't. I think that just the matchup played really tough on Andy Pajes there. Putting Kike in center field, I suggested that if they wanted to put Pajes in left. But Kike Hernandez, I don't think they feel comfortable with him in center field right now. That's just how I see it. And a Call Conforto platoon. Call has definitely looked good. His at-bat quality has been terrific, and that plays in the postseason. When Shohei Ohtani's seeing barely over 3 pitches in at-bat, like on average during the DS, having a guy like Alex Call who goes up there and gives the lineup kind of a breath, that was good to see. Conforto's been out of the loop for quite a bit. He hasn't played almost any time since like a week before the end of the regular season. That's a long time to get up to speed. Haven't heard anything about him. I know it's just a different animal there, but you look at who the Chicago Cubs trot out 2 lefty starters. I don't think that would be a spot for Michael Conforto. 2 lefty starters for the Cubs if that ends up being the Cubs there. Let's see. Al Potter, the Phillies let Buehler pitch at all? No. They just asked. Walker Buehler gave them some insight. I don't know what he gave them. Probably standard stuff, but Dodgers stuff just doesn't stay the same. Whatever it was, it didn't work out. Cool. Let's see. GI, fingers crossed, but if they make to the World Series roster, does it add Scott back to the roster? No. I think Tanner Scott's done for the postseason. Wish him the best. Hope he's doing all right. Definitely do. Take the off season, figure it out, get healthy, get yourself in a better mental headspace with the game of baseball. Never like hearing a guy saying, the game of baseball hates me. Get him out. Let him get healthy. Let him get right mentally. Come back next year. Hopefully they have a plan and Arizona, they figure him out. Come back. On the hook for a lot of money. Just how it goes. Dusty Willis, now they can't. Major League Baseball is really strict with this stuff. I'm not going to speak to what condition or what procedure he had, but I'm just going to say Major League Baseball is very strict with these things. Phantom stuff in postseason doesn't really happen. It's really hard for them to do that. Let's see. Sandy Feet, I can't answer this. I can't answer this accurately, but you look at guys like Teoscar who find themselves, it's guys who find themselves in RBI scenarios, places to do damage. Tommy Edmonds always one you can just say he's just gets a drive starter, a rally starter, goes up there. Mookie Betts, Blake Snell, guys who are willing to be, step up in that moment. It's all about the pulls. Cool. All right, everybody. Megan says, "Do I like the response from Scott blaming the baseball gods? Never heard an elite player say that. I mean, when he's an elite player who had a really incredibly tough season, so he's probably out of answers himself. They're probably they weren't able to figure him out. So when you're at that spot, it's like go out there and throw the best stuff you've got. And his best stuff wasn't working out. So at that point, he's like, what do you want me to do? What can I do? I'd be like, perform, but it's just lost season for him. Happens. Sucks. It sucks, but it happens. I'm glad they just didn't. Dave Roberts wasn't launching him into leverage scenarios here. Yeah. Hep says Muncie's gonna have a pimp job moment. Cool. Yeah, absolutely, Megan. You too. Take care. All right, everybody. Thanks for hanging out with me for this hour. You guys are the best. Just want to break down, this series. Wanted to break down Game 4. Wanted to talk my 2 MVPs, which were Roki and Glasnow, and really get into what they did for this team and pitching out of their norm, what they believed they were going to be doing. Tyler Glasnow was about drawn back to the chasing that perfect feeling, and that's not something that he did this postseason. He's still pushing on, pitching out in relief, relishing in that moment. I was extremely happy the way he, after his outing in Philadelphia in relief, he said that he really thrived and pulled a lot of adrenaline from going in out of the bullpen. So that was really cool to see. And then pitches the game of his life, pitches the game of his Dodgers career so far, and helps push them to a National League Championship Series. Roki Sasaki, 3 innings last night, spotless. He was electric. And 3 appearances against the Phillies. So they got a lot of looks. Jedi wants to know, we catching you again with the weekend update, Scott? We'll see. Got to talk to the suits for that. Let the suits know. You want to hear that? You want more of me? And then we'll talk to it. So you guys take that up with the suits. You can at Dodger Blue. They'll see that stuff there, and then we'll talk about it. The NLCS begins. Let's check this out. Monday. The NLCS begins Monday, so we'll stay tuned on what it is there. Monday, Tuesday for games 1 and 2. You got a break between games 3 and 4, and then 5. Yeah, 3, 4, 5 are all back to back to back. So you line that up how they can. Let's do it. Let's definitely do it. So everybody, as always, my name is Scott Geirman. Terrific National League Division Series. Pitchers duel all around. Dodgers win the Battle of the Titans there. Congratulations to the fans. You guys hanging on there and watching the nail biters. It's good stuff here. So everybody, from myself, Dodger Blue, thank you for all the support. Thank you to everybody tuning in on a Monday morning. Hope I made this time for you. Terrific. If it was your lunch break, if you're escaping work, appreciate you. Thanks for escaping your responsibilities to spend your morning with myself and the rest of the chat. If you're listening after the fact, rate, review, subscribe, and I'll be back here with you on Monday. Because it's a game day, I will see you at noon on Monday, and we will talk then. Anything changes, I'll keep you posted there, but I'll be back here on Monday to break everything down with you. We'll be talking roster, we'll be talking pitching, and how things line up against either the Chicago Cubs or the Milwaukee Brewers, who play Game 5 in Milwaukee tomorrow. So we will see you all on Monday. Stay informed. Stay tuned in to Dodger Blue on all social medias here, YouTube, everything. Chat. Enjoy yourselves. Enjoy each other. To the tier ones, thank you so much. And until I can't say it anymore, as always, my name is Scott Geirman. Go Dodgers.